So in this video, I'm going to run through every single thing I've bought for Lawn Mower Racing that will enable you to go racing, to build a mower, and to get started in this hobby, because I didn't know when I started, and so that's what this video is going to be about. Alright, so we'll start with the obvious thing, the lawn mower. You're going to need one of those. Often you buy a chassis and build it up. You either need to be mechanically minded, be able to weld, cut, build something like this, or know someone who is. Luckily, I know someone who is. But you need loads and loads of stuff to go racing. Spares, ancillaries, everything else. So let's start over that side and move across. First of all, jerry cans with fuel, that makes sense. Tyre inflator, you change tyre pressures all the time, every single weekend. This one was 20 quid off Amazon and it's really good. Then it's a requirement in your pits you have a fire extinguisher and it has to be in date, so that's ready to go. Then this you don't need, but I like to have. Most people do because they've been burnt by a situation. So I bring a spare engine. This one Richard has lent me, but we do have one that we have an equal share in from the 12-hour race. And so often we will bring that as a spare. In case the one on there goes pop, you still can keep racing because you don't want to go there, spend the money for entry and not be able to race if one of these goes bang. If we're talking about costs, these are £400 each. So those are something you bring spare. Fuel is whatever fuel costs. I spend about £10 a weekend. Then racing boots. These are my horrible old ones, but they're extremely comfortable and very good for this. These ones were £40 from eBay and I still use them even though they're taped up and the sole has been glued on a number of times. They're just super comfy and they work really well. This is optional. This is body armor. Now this protects your spine and particularly your collarbone if you come off, because sometimes your helmet, if you get in an awkward crash, can go through your collarbone. This stops that. I've never needed this, but I hope I don't. I just wear it every time anyway. Not everyone does, but I do. This you do need. Emma bought me this for a birthday. This was about £150 plus a good pair of goggles. I say good, these are from AliExpress, £10. And gloves as well. Then you'll need jack stands for lifting up your mower. Often we will lift up the rear to warm up the T-drive and the engine before you start racing, get all the oil going. You'll need these for that, and then also if you're working under it to prop it up, they're really useful. Then spare wheels. These are spare fronts I have ready made up, ready to go on. And these are spare rears, different tyres. So these are aggressive tyres for in the rain, and I have my dry set on the mower. Next is this little thing, little Jackery power bank. They sponsored a couple of videos on my previous channel and that's how I got this. So it's very, very good, powers everything. It's useful for just charging everything up, and because you're often away camping, this is amazing. Now, into a bit of odds and ends for working on the mower. This is an oil vacuum system, so you can change the oil just by sticking a straw down in there and pull it all out. That's really useful rather than draining oil and getting it everywhere. Impact gun, I use this one. This was £40 from the middle aisle of Lidl, and it's very good. I like it actually. I like it a lot. Then we've got loads of clutch spares, so I have a million spares of every single thing I'll need. Oil, I get asked this question all the time in the comments, what oil do you use? This was recommended by Crezzy, who really knows his stuff and has been racing a long time, and so who am I to argue? This is Motul racing motorbike oil. It's made to work at the higher temperatures of an oil-cooled engine like this, so in motorbikes. It doesn't break down over time. It's very, very good. It's also very expensive. This is like 70 quid for 4 litres, but it avoids you blowing up an engine, so it's cheaper in the long run, right? People argue over this. This is the oil I use in my T-drive. You use whatever you want, but I use ATF. Then this box is just a load of spares of everything I might need, loads of odds and ends, loads of microfibers, little pots for working on stuff. I also have a rule book, which is good. And then these are mud flaps for the mower. It's a rule that you have to have them available to put on in case it's super muddy. And if it's rocky, these are really important for safety. So you have to have those. They go on with 2 screws, which is really good. I then have all of my spare bolts. There's a million times you lose a bolt or have to fix something or come up with something, I don't know. So that is really useful. This has all of my spare parts in it. So we've got spare belts. These do go bang occasionally. Spare airbox. All of my gears. So these are for changing gearing. I have a 20, a 21, a 22 and a 23. And then a spare taper lock. That's what holds it onto the shaft. So I have a spare one of those. Spare spark plugs. Oil filter. A couple of spare carbs ready to go, brand new, to go on there. Fuel filters, I use these big diesel ones. They're really good because they hold a load of fuel right by the carb. Everything for making a clutch run. So this is all clutch springs and various bearings and pieces like that. A set of every rose joint there is on the mower, ready to drop on. Spare inner tubes, loads of tubing and wiring, spare bolts. Without sounding weird, these are my fluids. So friction reducer, brake fluid, various different greases, various thread lockers, Gorilla Glue, instant gasket. Rain-X. This is really good for visors. I don't see many other people using it, but I love it. Whenever it's wet, it means all of the mud and the rain just disappears off your visor. This is my brake bleeder, homemade, made from a gravy pot and a tube. More ATF to go in the T-drive. GT85 for like rose joints and various bits in the golden juice. Brake cleaner. And this is air filter oil. It's very good for keeping the dust out of your engine. This has been a lifesaver. When it's super fine dust, it can get in the oil and destroy an engine. Here's my toolbox then. This is one I bought when I was much younger, so I'm still using it. Very good. Socket set. This is just everything. Allen wrenches, screwdrivers, wire brushes, pliers, socket, Torx bits, everything. And then I have recently bought some ratchet spanners. I freaking love ratchet spanners. So that's in there and more spanners there. Fairly standard stuff. Drill, grinder from the middle aisle of Aldi. Loads of grinding discs, various things. Spare batteries, drill bits, and then a tap and die set, which always come in handy. There are loads of things you forget to think about. One of them is that you need a transponder. Now you can hire these from the club, but they're £6 a day, which I think is too much. So I hired one from My Laps myself. This also costs what I think is too much, but I'd rather have my own and have it ready to go. Then a gazebo. We bought a really strong, sturdy one. That was about just under £500, but it's very strong. And every year, whenever there's a windy meeting, everyone has loads of gazebos fold up and break up in the wind. And then there are camping things. Now, some people take caravans, some people take vans, some people camp in tents, some people stay in hotels. This is the solution we do. Let me show you. Now, once upon a time, I used to tow a teeny little trailer behind our car with the mower in. I kind of adapted an old trailer to work with it. It was good. It was a cheap way to do things, but it wasn't a good way to do things. You had to tow at slower speeds and it was really horrible. So what we do now have is a normal car and then a van, which I just use as my runabout because I don't do many miles, I work from home. And this is adapted to race. Now, we've fairly cheaply converted this van. It works great for us, we love it. It's not gonna be right for everyone, but I will show you what we do. So this is a Renault Traffic, and what we've done is insulated and carpeted everything, put some cheap laminate flooring in, and then this is a bed where Emma made some custom mattresses. So these mattresses fold up, you can see a bit there. This pulls out, and then the mattress pulls out and folds down. The reason we've done this is so that we have all of this space to load all my stuff in. So the lawnmower sits in this side, then we have all the gazebo and everything down there, and then under here I have all of my tools and camping stuff, and all that lives in there. So we get an awful lot in quite a small van. It means we can drive at the speed limit, we don't have to drive slower because we're towing something. We drive about 2 hours to every meeting, and so that's really nice. We really like this solution. That's everything you're going to need to go lawnmower racing. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions about where to find anything, etc., let me know. I want to hear from you. I'll see you in the next one.